Yes, in through our nose, Tinomana, out through our mouth.
Yeah.
All right, let me count you down and we'll go forward. Hang on 1 second. In 3, 2, Kia Orana, Chantal. How you doing today?
Hello, Kia Orana Hayden, and especially kia koto all our listeners. It's me, Chantal Napa, welcome back. Now Coconut Wireless has technology with Kia Orana Podcast. Let us transport you to the tropics and connect you to my ipu karea, our ancestral home, the Cook Islands. Introducing you to our guest today is Tinomana Tokerau Ariki. Tinomana Ariki, the title translates as absolute power. Tokerau Mana is the High Chief of Puaikura village, now appointed Ariki Chief of Puaikura in 2013. Tinomana Tokerau Ariki stems from a long line of Ariki of the people. Tinomana Tokerau is passionate about her culture and is often in attendance at community events in Rarotonga. Her passion lies in the art of Tivaevae. Tinomana is descended from the first Rarotongan Ariki to accept Christianity, Tinomana Enuarurutini Ariki. In 1948, Girl Guide led a name the Red Rose. Assistant President for Cook Islands Association of the Non-Government Organisation, 1974 until 2013, Cook Islands Girl Guide Chief Commissioner, 1985 and 2009, Organising Committee for Medal Ceremony for Pacific Games held in Rarotonga, 1988, Cook Islands Teachers College with Merit, 1995, attending Patterns of Paradise exhibition at Auckland Museum. 2001, Woman of the Year. Born on the 31st of July 1937, let's do the maths everyone. That's 84 beautiful years old. Welcome Tinomana Tokerau Ariki. Thank you so much for joining us today. You look very nice today.
Thank you.
You look very nice, and I saw you preparing for our little talk up there on your deck at the beginning of at the porch, of Aomuru Palace. And then you say, right, I'm just going to go and put my A on, Chantal, and my lipstick. I love that. I love that. I love that. So how does it feel to hold the title Tinomana Ariki of Puaikura, of Puaikura, and tell us about your experience in this position for the last 8 years?
It's a big issue in the village. There are a lot of things happening in the village. Mostly they come and ask me about all these problems in the village, like land problem, government problem, health problem. They always come and ask for help. But the only thing is I have to call all my Rarotonga on the village to talk about this issue. So they're the one who tell these people know about this coronavirus in the village. When they heard this, they want to shut the gate of Puaikura from this Rarotonga in the village. They don't want this sickness to come into the village. But according to the house, when they talk about into the Rarotonga of the village, they agree with that. They have to carry on and do what they want. This virus won't come in on the island. That's when we start off with this virus coming on the island, because we are the first group. We asked the house to come and talk to the Rarotonga in the village. So that's the.
And then you also mentioned that you have people in the village come to you with land, so they're just coming to you for guidance.
Yeah.
They're coming
to help,
for
especially for this area like what you call it, because this village is a Tinomana. Tokerau, you know, the land belongs to Tinomana. They come and ask. But it says in the government, if you are descendants for this guy, you are entitled to be on the land.
You know, Tinomana Tokerau, I appreciate you speaking English because actually I said to you, I'm sorry, I've got to speak English and I know that you prefer i te tutu o Māori, right? So I really appreciate you doing this today. I really appreciate you doing this today. So please talk us through your personal history. Can you take me on a journey, please, from 1937?
Oh, well, I was brought up by a missionary guy. They were the missionary in the village during those days when I was born, 1937.
Right?
Yeah. They are the one who brought me up until I turned up 14. And one of my feeding brother wanted to take him back to Maniki to live there before he's getting old. So they took me where my real parents is. So I stayed with them, but I said to my brother, I don't know these people, I don't know them. I didn't know that was my real mother. But I stayed with them, so later on I know this is my real mother. My other mother and father, they just feed me.
Yeah, I was doing some research and I roto I tō tātou reo Māori, it's tamariki āngai. Tamariki āngai, and as a child you were brought up by Oramatua Kairinga, which is Nooroa Kairinga, and his wife, who was a Maote Makitāmau family, and therefore you have close ties with your Ngātangi ia Maote and Pā families, and you are Te Pori a Pā descendants. Te Pori a Pā descendants. So at 14 you get brought back to your real family, right? And you're thinking, oh my goodness, I've just grown up with my Oramatua family, okay? I mean, in Polynesia, it's not, it's normal actually to be tamariki āngai. You know, it might not be normal in the Western world, but it is no tātou, it's not for, we're not surprised when we hear that. And so in 1937, you were with them until 1951, 14 years old. And so things must be so different. Things must be so different. We can talk about that though, because I want to ask you little things about the changes. But what would you say, Tinomana, would be your greatest achievement? That's a big question, I know. It's a big question.
Oh, well, it's a big issue about, when I start staying with my family until I left school. And then I want to do more, to pay me for, some work. So I started with district nurse with this lady, Helen McKay. He was district nurse during that time. So I worked with her for 1 year until she left. Then I worked again with Mrs. Winrine as a district nurse.
Is this in the 50s?
Yeah, just 50.
Goodness me.
Yeah, 50.
Goodness me. And what would you do as a district nurse in the 50s?
We used to go around the island and weigh all these babies, around the island, because during those days there's no district nurse like today. Because those days the Papa needs Papa they have to go around the island and weigh all the children. Every day that's what we do, going around the island and weigh all these babies. I was working for them for 2 years, and then I thought, I better study nursing, But my mother wouldn't allow me to go and do that. So, but I still work for the district nurse.
So your mother didn't allow you, but you still worked for the district nurse?
Yeah.
You mean to study further? That's
So
what
to
you mean.
study further to be as a nurse, because that's where the
Does that mean you
just
would
to
have
help
to
with
leave?
the two district nurse, the way the children to call out, what way that the child is.
It's
That's
like
what
a
we.
manual way of recording from infancy all the way through. Then when you weigh them, you're seeing if they're growing accordingly. It would be beautiful because it'd be such a happy day every day because you're with beautiful little babies every day.
That's what I think that's why I've went and teach as preschool teacher. I started off with these babies. Now I'm back to the
Yeah, so you grew
The school.
this strong affinity with little people.
yeah, with the little one.
And so, I know it's a big question. So greatest achievements would be your nursing, your teaching, your family, your marriage, your people, your title. It's quite a lot there. And what about challenging moments of your life? Can you think of any?
There's a lot of challenge, issue in the village.
Not just today, we could talk about challenging moments in your whole 84 years of life.
There's a lot of challenge.
There are, aren't there? There are.
There's a lot of challenge, especially in the village, in the church as well, and in the government as well, there's a lot of challenge. Because we've been, the House of Ariki been talking all these issues, on the other, like the Mona and the environment and, the marine. That's a big issue into in the community, for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so can you share your involvement in the community and the efforts of building a resilient community to face the challenges that COVID's been throwing at us? Like, how are your people in your village? How are they? It's been 12 months now that we've had the threat of COVID. So we're so fortunate in the Cook Islands that we're still COVID free. But I can imagine you would have a lot of concerned people in your village just with anxiety. With anxiety and worry.
Well, I heard some of people were talking about, they don't want to, this, what you call this virus thing in the village. Like the patia,
The
yeah.
patia that's coming in?
Yeah, that patia that's coming in. There's some people, they say, don't want to.
Matakurato.
Yeah, they were scared of that. So I don't know whether it's, we just wait for people to start off doing that so that people can animate rato patia.
E tegere taku I marike ko patia eia e rua temi. Kama e te meitake o wara. Te meitake o wara. So if you could just pass some news to your people in your village that I've heard that it's safe. Just to encourage them. Absolutely. Nobody likes change. Okay, nobody likes change, and it's that's difficult. So what parallels do you think, Tinomana, could be made in the village of Puaikura, say from 50 years ago, the 1970s, until today, 2021, the last 50 years? Examples could be electricity, pireo.
I think we prepare because we don't use money, petrol to during those days. They use horses. Use horses and pireo. And today, children can't even walk to school. The parents always they take them to school.
I'm guilty of that, taking my children to school. I haven't said to them.
We used to walk all the way to the school. Now you can see the parents every day. I look at it during my days.
At the taxi o matoa. I know, sometimes I'm taking them to school, Tinomana, and I think, well, mind you, Te Rarotonga, when I grew up, I was right next to the school, so I used to just jump over the fence.
Not that far, we just near the school and walk down. Today, my God, once they don't like what you call the popo to take to school. they want donut sandwich or, sap to go to school. We don't have that during those days. We have only popo and tuawaya.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we had to school, and a coconut.
Yes, true.
Today, my grandson, he doesn't want any bottle of water to take to school. They want
That's one change.
Yeah,
yes.
that's a change.
And the horse and cart's another
Yeah.
change.
Technology. If you see anyone, they on the phone.
Yes.
When you call them, they can't hear. Especially my granddaughter, when I stayed here, so I like my grandson, he is staying with me, he can hear me. But my granddaughter, on the phone, when you call them, they can't answer you. Or else you throw it something else so that they can hear. That's a change of...
Yes, that is.
Yeah, that's a change.
And I know what you mean, because when I grew up with my grandfather, Napa, I lived right next door to Ararangi school with him. And I used to get to school, Tinomana, and the teacher used to say, Chantal, you're the closest child to school and you're the last one to get in the classroom. The children from Rutaki have walked to school and they arrived before you and you're just next door. Oh, sorry, that's true, So you're right, the children used to walk an hour to get to school, and it was just normal, and an hour to walk home. And then, remember we used to have the beautiful pate trees down the middle of Waka Puaikura?
Yeah.
And they planted those so that it would give us shade.
For you to walk.
For you to walk, because everybody was walking, right? And then electricity came.
They cut them down.
And we had to cut the beautiful trees down for the electricity. So
It's another change.
it's another change.
We don't have that before. We used what you call ua tamanu.
Ua tamanu.
No, that ua tamanu, ua tuchi for a lamp.
And that's it's a plant-based, or what you're talking about.
Ua tuchi.
Ua tuchi
Tuchi.
for the light.
For the light. Yeah, that's... Today you just switch on, everything's... There's light.
Just push the light, that's right. That's right. And so tell us about your passion for the art of Tivaevae.
Oh, that's my passion.
I know it is.
Yeah.
That's your passion.
About... not last year, the year before last, I have this group taking over to the other islands to teach them this patchwork of Tivaevae. So we asked funding to help us with this, because we supply everything to take to the other islands. So that's what we did with our group. So we went to Mangaya first.
Nice.
There's a lot of ladies, they want to know how to do this Tivaevae. Because the ECU is done by machine and not by hand. And then after that we went to Michiaro, the same thing. People were interested. When you see them, only patchwork, I said, hey, don't rely on the patchwork, use your hand to do hand sewing. Don't rely that, keep on with your, the chichi. Some they do, but it takes a year or 2 years to finish a Tivaevae, embroidery with the Tivaevae, and then you sew it again. So when I was with Auntie Ferreira, because we were working for the NGOs during that time, we used to go to one of the group in the village, if they want us to go and teach them how to do Tivaevae. So we went. We taught all these ladies how to cut the Tivaevae. And then one day we went to Ngatangia, and we were doing, instead of them learning how to draw, we were the one doing it instead of them teaching them. And then I said to her, Auntie, we look stupid. I said, why we look stupid? They should learn how to draw and to cut. Now we are the one doing it. Then what are you going to do? He said, well, cut a pattern on the lino and give it to them to draw it, and then they can do their own. And she said, oh, that's a good idea. That's what we did.
Yes.
That's how they learn.
You're trying to explain to them. What you're saying is we're silly. You don't mean you're silly. What you're saying is you're doing all the work, but you're there to teach. So they need to learn from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, draw the picture on a lino, hand cut it out with your, I don't know what that knife is called, Auntie, with the cutter. And then, like, you want to take them back to step 0 instead of provide them with all the patterns. Yeah, take them back to step 0.
You know what I do with mine? I don't take any patterns. I just draw it. Things comes into my mind, I just do it. I don't. People, if they ask the same pattern, I said I don't know how to draw that. It was me who drew it, but no pattern. Just draw it and cut it. That's it. Yeah. But if you want the same pattern, it won't be the same. It won't be the same. Because there's nothing pattern. It just comes from my head what I'm going to do.
So how long do you know, Tinomana, how long we've had Tivaevae in the Cook Islands, the art of Tivaevae in the Cook Islands?
I think it was the wife of the Oromito from England. Oh. That's where they start teaching in the Takamo, yeah.
So that would be the 1800s?
That's, yeah, maybe around about that. And they are the one, but it's not the embroidery one. Tivaevae manual. That's what they taught their Wainitiniri de Takamo, how to do the Tivaevae.
So, because our first missionary came about the 1837. I'm trying to take my memory back to that, but and then we had our missionaries come after that. So you're saying it's the wives of the missionaries that came from England, and they were hand sewing, and then they decided to, okay. And then we just put our own Polynesian design into this.
Yeah, I think they brought that idea, and then they can create their own mind because they saw it what they teach them, you know, and then they create their own pattern. You know, with all these ladies staying in Takamo.
So have you always done Tivaevae? Always?
I always do Tivaevae. I want to know how to learn how to cut Tivaevae. So I asked my cousin, Mama Ochina, Mama Roro. I went and asked her, you know, I took my material and said, I want you to teach me how to, no, you cut me my Tivaevae. I said, no, I'm not going to cut your Tivaevae. And then you cut your own. I said, I don't know how to cut it. You know what he did? She cut this envelope. You know, the envelope, you put the letter in, you cut this envelope, and he said to me, hey, you fold like that, and then you draw the thing, you cut it, and you open it.
Oh, like origami. So you fold it, and then pakoti ko irira, and then whaimai ko irira, and
it won't come off.
Shape.
Yeah. Well, that's what I teach with
and
the...
how old were you, approximately?
No, about 20.
Goodness me, so you've been doing Tivaevae
yeah, I've still
for
got
60
that Tivaevae,
years.
yeah. Still got that Tivaevae, but it's coming off.
You still got that Tivaevae you made?
It's still coming off. Yeah. And then when I've been asked to do Tivaevae in the schools, so I went to the training college in Nico, been asked by one of the teachers to teach the student how to cut Tivaevae. It's boys and girls, you know. So I went there for 2 weeks to teach him how to do that. One of the boys asked me, Mrs. Monroe, where's our pattern? I don't have any pattern. What we're gonna do? I said, you do your own pattern? We don't know how to do the pattern. I said, no. You look outside, a lot of patterns outside.
And the flora and the fauna, of course.
And then they look at me, all these students were looking at me, and then I said, well,
all our leaves.
you go outside and get whatever you want to draw, and bring it and do it. And show me what you got so I can teach you how to do that. So they all went one of the leaves, the banana leaves, the pawpaw leaves, the raparapo leaves, over there.
And they bring the shape back.
Yeah, then they bring the shape back. And then I told them, get one newsprint each. So I said, you fold half, and then they fold half. Fold another quarter, and then they fold another one. So, throw your...
I can see it visually what you're saying.
You put your pattern and then you draw it. They look at me, hey, well, when you open that, if your leaves or paper come off, you have to do it again. The whole thing will be held up into...
Because it's just a piece of newspaper and you can just do...
Yeah, you can do any pattern.
Make your patterns, yeah.
Well, that's what I teach with this audition. You know what? I choose one of the boys. It's from Mangaya. He's got the love. Metana rau raparapa. You know the rau raparapa? That was beautiful. Tivaevae. Yeah, they cut it themselves. They got 3 Tivaevae. I choose 3 patterns. And they do it themselves, you know, at the school. So one of the teachers said, you know, that raparapa is beautiful Tivaevae. They draw it themselves, I didn't draw it.
And now Tivaevae, it's for cushions, ariki, blankets, anything.
Anything you can do with the Tivaevae.
You can sew your Tivaevae patterns onto dresses, everything actually.
Yeah, that's one of the.
And it's hand threaded, so it's truly a piece of art. Each one.
It is. It's an art.
It is an art, isn't it? I mean, I know a few people who say, "Akamata o te 1975 I started it. Then I had a bit of a break. You know, then I did some other Tivaevaes, and then now I've come back to this one. It could take years."
I got one there sitting there for 2 years, hasn't finished. You know the Tivaevae taori? You know the little squares?
Oh, yes.
They're still sitting there. I finished half. Finished quarter. I'm doing the second half. I need another 2 half again.
And now the mamata, how big is it?
Mamata about 4. But you know, it's a big Tivaevae.
Big Tivaevae. So enough to go over a roi.
Over a double beads, yeah.
That's just beautiful. So, Tokerau Tinomana, you express your love and belief in the Lord Almighty very highly. Would you like to tell us a story about your journey with God? I'm just going to pick up your glasses here. There you go.
Oh, well, seeing my feeding parents is an oromitua, what else you can do?
Yeah, I know.
You have to believe it.
I was going to ask you that question, like, is it because you were brought up by a pastor?
By oromitua, okay. Yeah. Well, that's my belief. That's my guardian, every day. Well, you can't help it, you have to ask him for help, you know. Every day, at time you had problems, you have to ask them. Comes every time, you know. So that's my belief.
I'm nodding my head. And we'll just let everybody know that where you are at the Oamaru Palace, right next door to you is Ziona, which is the Cook Islands Christian Church in the village of Puaikura. And it's got 1849 on the building, 1849 on the building, and it would be no secret why the palace of our chief is built right next door to our church inside the village. 1849. How beautiful! I love that. He is my guardian.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way. You have to ask him to guide you through your life.
I agree. I agree.
I'm just near the palace. When you look at the palace is higher than the church. I don't know why is that. Because that was the first building was built, and the palace was there. I think Enuarurutini one taller than the church, you know. When you look at it, you know,
I am. I'm looking at the church.
Yeah, the church
and then I'm
is-
looking at
The palace. The palace is higher than the church.
I don't think
Well,
it was
the church is-
intentional. I think it just happened. They put a second level on the palace, and it would be to accommodate their large families, I think. Right?
Well, that's my belief in God.
Well, I know as a fact that you are at morning service at our local Cook Island Christian Church. What time does that start?
5 o'clock in the morning. You know what? This morning I sleep in because my daughter was sleeping with me, talking all night. And then when I woke up, look at the time. It's 5 to 6. The church is over. So I come outside and sit, and these people walking in. Then I sleep in. Well, I got the devil sleeping with me, and then make me not to go to church.
I understand what you're saying. It's making you late.
Right here.
Making you late.
But I didn't hear my alarm. My alarm always wake me up in the morning at 5 o'clock. They wake me up at 4
What a
o'clock.
beautiful way to start your day. What a beautiful way to start your day. 5 o'clock in the morning with your morning prayer service next door in church. How lovely. Most of us are.
Yeah, but most of you people won't get up at the time of the night of the morning.
No, we are lazy. I will agree. That's terrible. It's terrible.
Make time, you know, to wake up in that.
What a nice message.
Yeah.
Make time for God.
Yeah,
What a
make
nice
time
message.
for Him, you know, say thank you.
Yes. What a nice message, and I agree. Make time for Him to say thank you for our abundance of what we have, so that we may continue to be guarded by our guardian.
Yeah, He's a good guardian.
With a lifetime worth of knowledge and experience, what message or advice would you like to pass ki tō tātou tamariki to our young ones?
Oh,
Get off your games.
to teach them our
Our reo, yeah. Tātou reo.
tō tātou reo, even the tako tamariki ariki te tutua Māori,
Yes,
all
they
of
do.
them. You know, one time I went over to Australia and one of my grandchildren, because they know how to put it, the kai, told them to put it our kai in our own language. They said, Nana, we don't know how to say that. You know, they've got all about
It's
that.
another
because,
change that
yeah,
we've had, eh?
it's another change of the children. But only children stay here, they can tutua rei tō tātou reo. But children going outside, they lose their...
And you'd like to see more children playing outside,
Yeah.
walking to school, getting some exercise, getting on their bicycles,
So that they won't get piti-piti.
so that they won't be overweight. That's really simple, good message, actually. Very simple, good message. Okay, so do you have any last thoughts today for our listeners that you would like to talk about?
I would like to say thank you for what you've done. I didn't expect that we'll be doing this conversation during this time of the day, and well, thank you, Chantal, for that.
Oh, you're very welcome, Tinomana. And we've got your grandson here today, on autism, and he's filming you because he wants to have this for him and for his family, for your family.
So I've just found out the DVD for that document was on the BBC News in England. I just found it. I just put it right there. I've got to bring it.
You were on the BBC News?
Yes, in London. I've got the
Please tell us about that.
doing it with Tivaevae as well.
Okay.
These people came over and took a photo of us, talking, with the Tivaevae. And not only me, there are a lot of women from Atiu and Mangai talking about the Tivaevae. But this guy was from England. He took us a photo. And then one of the guy from England came and brought this DVD, from one of the ladies who was with us. But I don't know this guy. But they said, yeah, I don't, but I know you. but you don't know me. I said, how come you know me? The lady was, taking all these photos. She gave me this DVD. When you go to Rarotonga, go and see Mrs. Monroe. Don't go to other church, you go to Arotonga Church. He lives in Tivaevae and comes into...
And that's how you'll find her.
That's how I found that
how
DVD.
He will find you.
Yeah.
Go to the Rarotonga
Church.
And, you will
and then
find
that
Monroe.
morning when the church finished, he came and talked to me and said, are you Mrs. Monroe? I said, yes, but I don't know you. And he said, hey, you don't know me, but I know you. So she brought this DVD. So I got it with, I put it up. I was taking a Tivaevae exhibition at the museum. They the one who would do what you call the nakataru kore. Anything, not a DVD, the one with the stick.
Oh, okay, USB.
That's USB,
that's
yeah.
very good for Miss 84 years old to know what a USB is. I love it. I love it.
And I use USB, they tap on that one. Because they said if they put it on that DVD, ngaruh kia.
That's right. Well, this will not be lost, our podcast. It's a really great way to capture your story and also your grandson here. I was thinking before we finish off that we just talk a little bit about the experience of your investiture ceremony that was held in 2013, because our listeners internationally, Tinomana, they would like to know how this hundreds of years old ceremony that we have done for a long time is so meaningful and powerful and special
No one knows that he's got the DVD.
Oh, great. So we can, because everybody in the village comes, it's like a party. Everybody in the village comes because they're so joyful with the investiture process. You have all your supporters and your family with you. And I'm sure if our listeners go and research a bit more about the investiture in 2013, they'll be able to see the images of you there.
Yeah, I think the whole island was, supporting all this.
I was here in my red dress for the Puaikura colours. I was here in my red dress.
I think so all the island were there. The food, a lot of food. A lot of people, when you look at the compound here, full of people, and everyone helping with the investiture. And I was glad with that. And they took us a photo, with all these people, Well, if you are in the village, you've been working in the village, I think that's why the people were. Because I'm involved in everything in the village.
You are?
Yeah, like I was netball, community work, church,
Church, teaching, education, everything.
So
nursing, everything.
No one knows I've been a nurse.
Well, thank you. Thank you in Meitaki to our guest, Tinomana Tokerau Ariki. It has been a genuine pleasure to be with you today. I'm so grateful to you sharing your knowledge and opening up with me today. Thank you to our listeners. Hayden and I appreciate you all. Nōko ni ia matou I Kia Orana Podcast, aroa I atu kia koto katoa toa. Thank you so much, because I've been wanting to capture our older generation, Tinomana Tokerau, and you are one of the first, so I really appreciate that. Capture our stories, right? Thank you. Kia orana, may you live long. Airera, farewell, and kia manuia. Good luck and good health.
Thank you, Maata. This way and ano. How was that?
Wonderful.
Good.
That's great.
And that's a wrap.